Hi, this is Karen and welcome to another card tutorial from dolallycrafts. This is the promised alternative to paper pumpkin. This is project number 1. There'll be 4 projects, so this will be an extra long video. So this is project number 1, and all you will need extra for this is a little bit of very vanilla cardstock. There's 3 colours I'm using, which are Night of Navy, Smoky Slate, and Coastal Cabana. Not Coastal Cabana, sorry. Soft Sky. No, Pool Party. I knew I'd get there eventually. So they're the 3 colours that we're using. And I'm going to make an identical card to this. It's a top tent fold card. There's actually nothing inside, so it's just a blank note card. But it was the outside that I wanted to decorate. Okay, so I'll pop the card just up the side there. Now, to make this card, I'm actually using the inside, if I can find one. No, they're all the wrong one. It'll be the inside of one of the envelopes. Now, I don't know where the other blue envelopes are. There should have been one more, and it actually had that pattern on the inside, because there's 2 different patterns on the inside of the envelopes. So there's this leaf pattern, and then there's a striped pattern. I chose the leaf pattern for the background. I wanted something a little bit busy because the card that I'm putting it onto has got a very subtle background, and instead of having it straight, I wanted to give it a bit of a kick up. So I've actually put it on slanted. Now, I cut both of these layering pieces. I'll just move that card out the way. Both of these layering pieces have been cut out with the rectangle dies just for ease. But if you want to cut them out yourself, they are, the larger one is 4 by 2 3/4, and the smaller one is 3 1/4 by 2 inches. So they're the 2 rectangle dies that I used. Sorry, I'll just make myself a little bit more comfortable. This card will come together very easily, so I will just get my snail, and as you can see, I'm using the address part of the envelope. So I'm just going to pop that on an angle to the side here, like so. And then the same with, oh, hang on, before I do that with this piece, I need to bring my scrap in because we're going to do a little bit of stamping. Okay, so in with the Night of Navy, the Pool Party, and the Smoky Slate. And to the side, I'm just going to have a nappy wipe to wipe these on, because I forgot to dampen my Simply Chamois. I'm having one of those moments. Okay, so we're going to come in. I'm just going to clean off, because I haven't done it since I made the sample card. So I'm just going to give those a bit of a wipe. Now, dry it off on my hand. Okay, and then come in with the Smoky Slate, and I'm just going to stamp off and then stamp onto this piece of card using the feather stamp from the stamp set that came with the paper pumpkin. And I love this feather. I'm going to be using it so often, and I forgot to stamp that one off. Okay, so I'll clean my stamp off, and I'm going to come in again, and this time stamp off and then stamp on with the Night of Navy. And one more just there, and that's all I'm going to stamp with the feather for now. Pop that aside, and then I'm going to come in with the distressing stamp that we used the the other day, and I'm not stamping off, I'm just stamping straight on with the Pool Party and just turning the card as I go, like so, just to give a bit of distressing to the piece of cardstock. Now this can now, bring the card back in, this can now go onto the front of the card, and I'm just laying these all flat, and that also goes on an angle like so. And the other thing I'm going to use is one of the labels that came in the paper pumpkin, and I will bring in my Night of Navy again, and I'm going to stamp thank you on the label and try and get it as straight as I possibly can, and over to this side. There we go. I think my Night of Navy needs a bit of re-inking. It's looking a bit sad there. So that will actually sit in the middle there. But before we do any more to the card, I'm going to bring in a scrap. Remember I said at the beginning you will need a scrap of Very Vanilla. Well, you'd actually need 2 scraps, one for this layer and then one for the 3 feathers that will be stamped. So there's one in Night of Navy. Clean the stamp off. The next one in Pool Party. Like so. Clean the stamp off again. And then last but not least in Smoky Slate. And I do apologise if you can hear noise in the background. My daughter's listening to a YouTube video quite loudly in her room next door instead of down in the lounge room. Okay, now I'm going to come in with my paper snips, and I will fast forward this bit as I do some fussy cutting around these feathers. Okay, and there are our 3 feathers. Now, to put them together is really easy. All I did was flip them over and put just a little bit of snail on the fluffy bits at the top, and then mounted them off centre to the one on the bottom. And there we go, there's the 3rd one. And then came in with the unnamed thread that was in the paper pumpkin. That's all I can say. And I'm going to tie a circle and then pop that around the top of the 3 feathers and tighten it, and then do that again so that we have a knot like so, and then tie as best I can, and I hope this is on screen. There we go, the loop through like that. I'm going to pop my thumb on and tighten the bows, and then give it another pull to tighten it a bit more, and then we're just going to chop those tails off and then flip the feathers over, and I want to put 2 dimensionals just on the two on the far side, and then bring in some glue dots. Two there, and I'm just sticking those at the top of the three feathers, which will hold the twine on, and bringing in the dimensionals again. And we're going to try and put this on as straight as possible. Now, before, when I did it, I actually popped my bone folder across the bottom there, even with the edge, and then pop that on, and I'm moving it slightly towards my left or the right of the card over here. Bit of stamp down, and then bring in the feathers, take the backings off of the dimensionals, and then just pop the feathers like so. Sorry about that. My camera batteries ran out just as I get to the end of the card. So that is the end of the card for this one. Really pretty temp fold card. I really like that. I really do need to ink up my Knight of Navy though. But what do you think? Do you like that card? I think it makes a really nice change to the to change it up so that it's not a cookie cutter from the paper pumpkin. Okay, on to number 2. Okay, the next project is to make a little gift box for this tea spa. I picked this up from the reject shop here in Mornington. There was a pack of 5 of them, and I decided to box them up and just give them as pay it forward gifts. If somebody does something nice for me while I'm out down the street, I'll just pass this over. This one's eucalyptus and jasmine body wash, and it smells beautiful. Even through the sealed lid you can smell it. Okay, so I'll pop that aside. And because of the colour, it's like a minty green. It would have been great to use mint macaron with it, but the pool party is actually a fairly close colour to it as well, so that's why I chose this card. Okay, so I'm going to bring the pool party in and my Simply Scored, and I'm going to score on the short side. I'm going to score it from 1 inch on either side, but I'm flipping it round so that I know I've got exactly the same measurements. And on the long side, I'm scoring it at 1 7/8 of an inch on both sides. No, that should be 1 3/4 on both sides. That's better. Yes, 1 3/4 from both sides. Sorry about that. Okay, oh, and I've got to do it on the Very Vanilla as well, which has got the birds on it. So we want this side on the outside. So on this we score it at 1 inch and 1 inch. All the measurements can be found on my blog. 1 3/4 and 1 3/4, and I'm actually going to use tape because it's card. I don't want it coming apart, so I'm going to score and fold and burnish on the score lines. And the same on this one, and make sure I get the right score. And I'm just going to burnish over the incorrect one. Try and push it back down, and then do it on this side, and try and score along there as burnish on there too. And then we go on the last one. bringing in my paper snips, I'm going to cut up along on the outside of the score marks, and then just give a wedge from the inside of both. So that is what we've got there, and the same on this side. And there we go, get rid of those. Now I will bring in my tape. Okay, so we will peel off the backing paper on these two pieces. Like so, and then I'm going to bring this one up, and using the tabletop to make sure that I've got this square. So that's one. Now we're going to take the lid off here, and then bring that up and around like so. So that's square as well, and the same there. Okay, so we've got the bottom of our box done, and I've just realised I've put too much tape on. This one, the inside one, should only have it come halfway up. So there we go, that will sit in there like so. So I'll pop that aside, and now we'll work on the lid. Trying to remember which side to pop it on so that it only goes up halfway. I think. Right, so it's the inside only goes up halfway. Bottom of the on with the tabletop. And then do the same with these pieces. Let's just make sure they're well adhered. That's those two. And once again, keeping it all square. One, two. Bring our box in, and that should fit quite neatly over the top because it's 1/16 of an inch smaller. For some, yeah, there we go. It is going over, or it was. Why is it stopping? Oh, the bottle, because I didn't quite make it long enough. There we go. So it doesn't quite come down far enough, unfortunately. However, I still think it looks cute. So now in with some of the, I think it's Pretty Peacock ribbon. And we're just going to bring that up and over. Oh, I'm going to need a bit more than that though, because I need to tie it. Not in a bow, I'm just going to tie it in a knot. So this velvet ribbon is beautiful though. It really is. Okay, so I'm just going to bring that up and over. Give it a bit of a twist. Ribbon that's showing. Do I look as cack-handed as I feel doing this? There we go. Beautiful. So just give that a bit of a trim, like so. Now we're going to decorate the box. And of course, I'll put all the measurements on my blog, but you don't actually need to use the paper pumpkin, use it as a paper pumpkin alternative. You can actually make this out of anything, any cardstock you may have. Okay, so we're going to bring in our floral there, and where's our tags gone? I'm going to bring in one of the smaller tags, and we're just going to pop that on at the top there. Like so. I'm going to pop these just on the bottom like so. And I forgot to stamp it before I put it on. Oh, my brain's working faster than my hands are going. Let's see how we go with this. Now, because I don't have the pretty peacock, that is the reason I was using the Night of Navy. So I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to stamp up 4. I didn't stamp properly. We'll go again. That doesn't look too bad. And then we'll stamp the U. There we go. It's not really well stamped, but there's a nice little paying it forward gift using the paper pumpkin. Yeah, I don't mind that. I hope you don't. I'm just going to trim that off a bit more. It's a bit too long.